Ooh, I got a good one for y'all today. Let me sit up in my chair because y'all know I love talking about black wealth. This video is titled The Long History of the Spending Habits of Black People. And just to give you a short glimpse into it, it is a science for these corporations to market to African Americans. All right. So let's get right on into it. It's Ricky Rich with Black Primacy. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notifications.
Blacks were denied access to the nicer products sold in America, like clothes and even food. Store owners would provide subpar products that had a lasting and psychological impact. When blacks were finally able to shop at mainstream stores, they didn't skip a beat, even going for the nicer items, even if they couldn't afford it. Now take a look at this. This was a marketing tool for store owners back in 1954.
Here is what sales psychologists have to say about selling to the Negro.
The secret of selling to the Negro is expressed in one word. That word is recognition. Now, there's nothing unusual about that. People want to be recognized. They need recognition. That's basic in all of us. But perhaps because he's had so little of it, the Negro needs even more. He needs to feel important and appreciated. This need is a very real and important one. It shows up even in many of the Negro's shopping habits. Anyone who sells or wants to sell to the Negro customer should know about some of these habits. 3 habits in particular play a big part in every sales transaction. To begin with, most Negroes buy by brand. They ask for products by name. They're quick to turn down off brands. Do you wonder why? Well, listen to what this customer is thinking.
That last hat I bought, it just didn't hold up at all.
You see, for a long time, the Negro has been sold a lot of shoddy, second-class merchandise. So now he asks for name brands in order to make sure he gets his money's worth.
Kind of jarring, isn't it?
That's a little interesting to me, that concept. I actually never thought of it like that. I always thought, just historically, we just wanted to historically we just wanted to, you know, have a higher class or a higher quality of item, simply because you know, we tend to, you know, back in the day, just never had, you know, never had the affluence to afford those things, right? But I never really thought of it as being like psychologically, like having just never having the good stuff. Like now, when you finally get to a point where you can, that's all you want, right? Where other ethnic groups or other groups just, you know, they don't really have, they've had good stuff and okay stuff their entire life. They didn't have just the bottom of the barrel stuff, you know. So it's easier for these other groups to be a little more lenient with brands and stuff. And for us, we once we can get it, then there's nothing else. So that's very interesting to me. I guess I never thought of it beyond you know, the basic knowledge.
Welcome to The Factor Uncensored. Many experts say the lingering effects of being treated like a second-class citizen in America for decades is still having a long-lasting impact on blacks today. How does that look? Spending more than you're saving, focusing on name brands to have that feeling of importance while impressing others, instead of buying land while building generational wealth. Some say the marketing tools used on blacks in 1950 1954 is still working today. Do you agree? Our panel is here tonight to talk about it. Kim H., fashion and beauty guru, Todd Smith, CEO of Regal Media, and Dr. Dietrich von Biedenfeld, supply cycle and finance expert. Glad to have you all here on The Factor on Center. Todd, when you look at that video, and you just have to stomach it because it was 1954. But when you think about what they were telling retailers to do for black customers, has that lingered on today?
I think it's lingered on, and I want to say this, there's nothing wrong with having quality products, because I think in the long run you end up saving money when you buy things that are a higher value. You buy cheaper things, they're cheaper for a reason. Carl Kanai once said you can't have quality for cheap. So you might end up spending money, more money, but the problem is, like the video says, and you said, we're buying things that we cannot afford to impress people that really don't even like us, and we all, a lot of us do it.
Or we don't like.
Oh, we don't like. There's a story about Debbie Allen being in the Galleria, I believe, one time, and they didn't know who she was. And she was at a high-end, maybe Lalique store, whatever it might have been, and she left because they refused service or something like that. She said, I should go buy the most expensive thing in there, and then she had to catch herself. They don't want me in here. Why would I give them commission? So we have been beaten down, and it's a shame that other races look at us. They're taking advantage of us because really they don't want us. But if you're going to spend your money, let's go get that black money. So if a brand doesn't want me, I'm not going to fight to give them my money. I'm going to shop. This is Dapper Dan, even though it's with the Gap, a black designer, the famous hip hop designer from Harlem. I'll support who supports me, and I'm not quick to give my money to people who don't like me.
And one of the things he said in that.
Look, everything he said was absolute fact. That's exactly how I move to this day. Right? I'm not well, it's for me. It's twofold. It's I shop where I can afford, and I'm not shopping brands that historically have not shown any kind of support to my community, or I don't even want to say have not shown support, have showed discriminatory acts towards my group. Right. The only thing that I don't disagree with him on, but that I would comment on is the fact that quality things last longer. That is true if you are getting true quality. The problem in today's age is that a lot of this stuff don't even the expensive stuff. It's not quality. It's not like it was even 20 years ago where something was 30-40% more expensive than the off brand, but it literally lasts longer. Now, especially with fashion and stuff like that, or clothes, fashion, even our cell phones and stuff today, it's the quality is really not there, right? The brands have learned and understood that people are buying brands and mission statements and influencers more than they're actually buying the quality of a product. And so we have to be very careful with saying just because something costs more that it's necessarily more quality. That is definitely not the truth. But that's not what he was saying. But because the only thing he was saying was that typically when you pay more, you get more quality, and I would agree with that. But you just have to be very clear with the discrepancy with price and perceived quality.
And that video was pretty long. That was part 2. There's part 1. And one of the things that they indicated was don't question the black buyer, because you will turn them away and they will go and spend their money elsewhere. And this was white psychological experts or psychologists to white retailers saying, don't turn them away, don't question them, take their money and run with it.
Right.
Your thoughts on this, Kim?
So my thoughts on that is they're still doing that today. billions of dollars are being put into advertising. And one of the things that I've noticed that over a period of time, I had an aunt that was a seamstress. She was a furrier for Neiman Marcus in the 60s and the 70s. And so, well, 70s and 80s for the most part. And she would look at a garment and turn it inside out, look at it and say, that's not your money's worth. But now it's been dumbed down. People, because of fast fashion, the turnover is so high, this looks like that, or the fake market. People don't even recognize quality. So I think sometimes we think that the same thing that they sell at the factory outlets are the same things that the designers are selling in their high-end couture spaces, and you don't know that, and people don't know the difference because the market has been flooded. I think those things are still in play because you're wearing a label and not actually quality.
That's exactly what I just said. That's exactly. I'm glad that she followed up with that. That's exactly what I was saying. I hope y'all understood that. I really do. I don't need to say anymore. She said it better than I could.
I want to know, though, from you guys, Dr. Von Biedenfeld, I want to hear from you. We spend, as African Americans, $300 billion a year.
Yeah.
Are we still following this 1954 video or the effects of that 1954 video to our detriment as a community?
Absolutely, and I think both prior panelists have touched on this, and I agree with Todd. My mother, Patsy Ann, black woman in the 40s, pointed out to me, why are you keeping up with the Joneses when you'll never be a Rockefeller or Carnegie? And many times she, as an upper middle class, master degree black woman, was told where bargain basement was when she would go into a store, which immediately would take her dollars elsewhere. So I think we recognize this, but we still have a lot of these traditions. We know these terms like Kleenex and Xerox. Well, we used to have the idea of the Cadillac of goods, but if we look at the market reliability of Cadillacs nowadays, maybe that isn't a great standard. Similarly with clothing and fashion and what you're getting your money's worth when you turn it in and out and you say, well, you know, these seams don't match or these patterns. So we are following this to our detriment because our credit scores aren't as good. And we've seen Latino spending power almost reach parity. That 1.5 trillion for the black community that's been here 400 years is very similar to the Latino community that, while many of these states were taken from their lands, are very similar. So I think we can see parallels in this, but the reality is we as a culture recognize the need to fit in and where we get questioned less, so that business casual as a cheat code to stability and legitimacy.
All right, we're going to come back and talk to you guys in just a moment. And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. We continue our conversation about the long history behind black people's spending habits. So, guys, when we take a look at it, when we take a look at the money makers in ethnic groups or race here in America, number one, Indian, South Asian, number two, Asians, and number three, white, number four, Hispanic, number five, black. But the number two spending behind whites in America, black people. So, I mean, your thoughts on that?
We need to prove ourselves.
Yeah.
We need to fit in. We need to come up to the standard. We need to show people that we matter. And I think it is the psychological effect of, you know, you are a second-class citizen. You have to sit in the back. So now this is my time to shine. But I think it also is ancestral, because if you look at Africa and the garb and the regalia and the royalty, you know, there are a lot of times that we are a proud people, and so you want to look that and you want to exude that. So that's
but Todd, is that to your detriment, though?
She is really good. I really like her. I really like how she broke that down, because my wife and in-laws are Nigerian, and I see that, just culturally, in the Nigerian culture, especially here in America, mostly here in America, is like, you see it in the dresses and beautiful, elegant, designs and stuff like that. But it's very, very proud and wanting to show the culture through design. So That's dope. I think I would agree. Then I believe that it is ancestral as well. The want to stand out from the crowd and to be seen, especially a group that's typically, like they said, in the back of the bus. Very interesting.
Of proud people, and so you want to look that and you want to exude that. So that's
But Todd, is that to your detriment though if you can't afford that?
If you can't afford
It definitely is, and I've been victim of that. You know what I mean? If somebody says, "Oh, this is limited edition," we were just talking about, "Oh, this is limited edition. I got to get it now," but I have bills to pay. That's not intelligent. I find myself falling into that trap too. But like you said, it's a thing about fitting in, but I don't think everybody falls into that category. I remember Deion Sanders saying something to the fact he wears jewelry during the games and or on magazine covers because he wants little black kids to know in the hood that you don't have to sell dope to get this. You don't have to be a rapper to get this. You can do what I do and have that. So a lot of people use that as motivation for the young kids to see, look, I did it the corporate route and I have the same type of stuff that you see these drug dealers have, so you can do the same.
Okay, last 30 seconds.
I think that's. I don't know. I believe there's probably a group of people out there that do it, but I think most people do it for themselves, to make themselves feel accepted, wanted. Most people in general do it. I don't think that the black man that's got the chain on, that's feeling good, wanting to be accepted by other groups because he looks like he got money. I don't look at him any different than I look at the white man with the with the fancy car that's pulling up out front of places trying to be seen. Like, it's the same energy. You know what I mean? The only difference is, can we afford it? And yes, I believe maybe some particular part of the group is, they dress nice in order to show others that it can be done a certain way. But I think that's a very small majority, in my opinion. But, to each his own.
And I have the same type of stuff that you see these drug dealers have, so you can do the same.
Okay, last 30 seconds. How can we break this cycle if there's a cycle that needs to be broken?
One of it is accepting that there are quality goods that don't necessarily have to be name brand. Shopping locally, shopping in community brands, finding those couture dealers who are in the black and brown communities so the money circulates within that local community.
All right, and that's Kim. You'll see Kim
Yes,
for some good products.
and that's this.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Ooh, if that couldn't have been the best video to share on this channel. Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with anything that was said there. I think that was excellent. I like how he ended it off, like keeping the money in the community, understanding that the price tag and the brand of something does not make it better quality in a lot of cases, not in all cases. Okay, not in all cases, not in all cases. I'm trying to think of anything that I own. Well, I mean, I buy. I'm a shoe guy. Like I have a lot of shoes, right? And I can say that in my experience, the quality of a Nike shoe. Well, this is hard to say because I haven't bought, I haven't owned a pair of Payless shoes and since I was a kid. But I know at one point the quality of a Nike shoe was 10 times better than the quality of a Payless shoe. I don't even know. Hopefully y'all know what Payless is. Hopefully the demographic knows what Payless is. Payless is no longer around, but I had a pair of Payless shoes when I was younger, and the quality of a Nike shoe was 10 times better. Now I can't really tell. I like I said, I only buy name brand shoes, and I have a few pair of Jordans that recently fell apart on me. So there you go. I don't know, but typically I have found success in a lot of the name brand shoes. I do not shop, cheap on my shoes, but I can afford to do that. So it's not a problem. And then, recently I did a video. If y'all go back, y'all look, check the playlist, supporting Black owned, where I bought a quality pair of Black owned shoes, right, that I wear to this day, right? So there is a lot, there's a lot to be said about the perceived quality these days. It's really hard to tell if these premium brands that we've grown accustomed to is actually the type of quality that they claim to be, right? And again, support the community. I got to end on that, right? Y'all make sure y'all tap in. Y'all let me know what y'all think on this. All right, it's Ricky Rich of Black Primacy. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notifications.